Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I am doing a video about spooky season books for the girlies like me who really don't want to be spooked, okay? We don't like horror. We don't like haunted houses, okay? We don't like the gore. We don't want none of that. We just want to catch the vibe. We want to catch the spooky season, maybe the witchy, the magical, the mystical vibe. So I have some books here. Some of these I have read, about half of them I've read, about half of them I haven't. But I feel like these aren't going to keep you up at night, like because you're terrified. Okay, none of these are scary or terrifying. I'm going to say that they're not terrifying, they're not scary. Some of them can be a little bit graphic in the imagery, a little bit. There is not a lot of graphic description of like gory things. It's just enough for you to get the picture, you know what I mean? And then also none of these are outright, to my knowledge, are outright categorized as horror, but I do have a little bit of everything except for, I think, contemporary fiction. I don't have any contemporary fiction, but I do have some fantasy, I have some romance, I have some thrillers, of course. So if you like these types of curated style videos, please give it a thumbs up and I will do more in the future. Also leave in the comments down below what types of curated videos that you want to see, because I will put something together for you. If you haven't already subscribed, please consider doing so before moving on. Other than that, let's get into these spooky books. Okay, so first I'm going to show you guys the ones that I have read. Okay, so first up I have the Never After series. I think that's what they're called. Yes, Never After series by Emily McIntire. I have 3 books here. This is Wretched, this is Hooked, and then this one is Twisted. I've read 3 books from this series. One of them I don't have, it's Scarred, and the other 2 I read are these ones. I've yet to read Wretched, but considering I've read 3 out of the 5 current books that she has available, no, there's 6. There's 6 books she has available. The other one is Crossed. But either way, I've read enough to be able to catch the gist of what she's intending to do with these series. So this series is a dark romance that is a spin of a twisted tale surrounding villains from Disney and fairy tales. So we follow the villains and they do some villainy type of things. They are morally gray, if not just straight up morally dark, and then they end up in a romantic type situation with like a good girl or a good guy or something like that. So there are some graphic scenes of the bad guy doing bad guy things, but it's nothing that's going to keep you up at night. It's not going to scare you out of your skin. So, and it's romance. Like, I don't know that I've ever seen like romance recommended in these types of videos, but if you're anything like me, you're not going to go too long without reading romance. So if you are interested in romance, I think this is a good place to insert that in your spooky season. Also, all right, before I forget, I just finished Demon's Dream. Part of me, don't even want to tell y'all that I read that book because it's so wild and colorful and graphic in like every sense of the word, and I'm like, don't look at me. But also I also kind of don't want to tell y'all to read it because you're going to feel how I feel right now, and that is lost and wrecked and like you don't know what to do with yourself. Okay, you're going to be in a slump. I'm in a slump, not like I don't want to read anything else, but it's just like I'm so wrecked that there aren't more books in this series. Like, how could you? How could you write this and then just be like, what do you mean there aren't more books? What do you mean? I'm so wrecked. But I was reading it and I'm like, oh my gosh, oh, this is gory, oh, y'all crazy. And like, at the same time, I'm writing my review and I'm like, is this dark romance? It is some messed up stuff in there, but I definitely feel like it fit the vibe for spooky season. And it's a romance, it's urban fiction, it's gangsta fiction, it is literally touch her and you die. There's so many people who die in this book. There's so many people who die in this book, and like, I won't even say like for the craziest stuff, but like, they stand on business when they say they're gonna stand on business. It's so good. It's on KU, it's on Kindle Unlimited. So if you don't mind being an absolute wreck about it afterwards, go read it. Don't even worry about the page count. It's not gonna feel like it. You're not gonna care. You're gonna actually wish it was 1,000 pages. All right, but anyways, yes, Demon's Dream by Elle, Kayson. That's the one. All right, I talked too long about that one. Next up, I have probably the most unsettling book to my knowledge. Well, there's another one who might be unsettling in a different way, but this is Monday's Not Coming by Tiffany D. Jackson. This one is a thriller, and I will say that Tiffany D. Jackson teeters the line between like thriller and horror. She also teeters the line between YA and adult fiction because the themes are so heavy and dark and unsettling. That's what I'll say about this one. This is very, very unsettling. I personally privately had a difficult time sleeping after this just because of the level of unsettled that I was as this book was unfolding. But yeah, if any time to read it, like, I definitely think spooky season is the time. Are you going to be afraid? No. Is it like scary? No. It's just that unsettling. Next I have Never Lie by Freida McFadden. This to me is the spookiest book of hers that I've read. Her books are thrillers, they're popcorn thrillers, but this one is set in like a creepy abandoned like mansion out in the woods all by its lonesome. There's like a stormy wintry night type deal. They're like, that says spooky to me. If that doesn't say spooky to you, then it's probably not that big a deal. But to me, I needed to I'm gonna tell you, I'm so scary. Like, I needed to read this before it even got spooky season because like, I have a house, it could be spooky. Like, I just I just draw the line at spooky houses, man. But this one was not going to keep me up at night. Even if I read it like right now in the dark, like, it wouldn't keep me up. But it is very thrilling. This is probably my favorite Freida McFadden book. And then, speaking of favorite books, this is my all-time favorite thriller of ever. I don't care if you've watched the movie, you need to read this book. It is Gillian Flynn's Gone Girl. This book is incredible. Freaking incredible. It is so thrilling. It is so like fast-paced, on the edge of your seat. Like, what is actually happening? What actually happened? Who do I believe? Who do I trust? Who's crazy? It's so good. Now, there are at least I haven't read this in like 10 years. There is at least one like really graphic, disturbing scene in here, but again, I don't think it's going to give you nightmares. It didn't give me nightmares. You're going to be able to sleep just fine. It's just colorful to depict the level of crazy, okay? But for freaking phenomenal. And then finally, of the books that I have read, I have This Poison Heart and This Wicked Fate by Bayron. This is a YA fantasy book, or fantasy duology, that follows Briseis, Briseis. And she has magical powers that enable her to manipulate plants. And she has derived this power from a Greek myth, Medea, who is real in this story. She learns that she's real and the limitations and extent of her power and like dangers associated with it and whatnot. So this is kind of like her finding out everything, and then this is her like going on a quest. So it is not spooky or like, yeah, it's not spooky scary to me, but it is like mythical and magical and mysterious. So I definitely feel like this fits the spooky season vibes. All right, next I have some books that I have not read, but some of them are on my TBR for the month of October. So first up, I have Blood Sugar by Sascha Rothchild. This is about a serial unaliver who we are meant to like empathize with and want to be friends with. I haven't read this, so I don't know if it like details in graphic detail how she serially unalives these people. But hopefully it's not too spooky. So I'm just reading some of the words on the back from authors blurbs. So it says chilling, twisty, exceptionally smart, unsettling, engrossing, wicked, somebody else says engrossing. So like it's giving a vibe, but it's not giving scary to me. So that seems safe. This one, Blood Like Magic by Liselle Sambury. She's also the person who wrote Delicious Monsters. This one is it's witchy. It's about a young girl named Voya who is part of a family of witches, and she has just gotten her lady time for the first time ever. And in this story, when a young witch or young prospective witch gets her lady time for the first time, that is the signal or the onset for when the ancestors come, or an ancestor will come and give that person a task for her calling, which is like her special magical ability. It says here on the back of the book, the ancestor comes down, gives Voya her task, and her task is to unalive her first love, which she has yet to even encounter. So this one doesn't seem like it's going to be spooky. This is YA as well. It's part of a duology. I don't know if there's going to be a third book, but right now there are two. I only have the first one, but I've read the first chapter. Doesn't seem spooky at all. Granted, again, it's just one chapter out of very, very, very many. This is over 500 pages. Over 400 pages. I don't see this being spooky at all, but a witchy book definitely easily, hands down, like gives spooky season vibes. Then I have another romance. This is Still Beating by Jennifer Hartman. This one I've heard is emotionally damaging. It is like a captive trauma bond type of romance. So I don't see this being scary, like you're going to be afraid to go to sleep, but I do see it being very, very uncomfortable, unsettling, and heart-wrenching. So if you are looking for like a darker themed romance, this might be the vibe for you in the spooky season. Then I have, this might be the spookiest one of all the books. So I have watched the series TV show because I didn't know that it was a book, and I wasn't super into reading at the time, but I watched the show and it was spooky. Okay, I wasn't afraid to go to sleep, but you could have been. So depending on how this is actually like described and depicted, it's just because of the monsters and the characters, it could be spooky. But as far as it being gory, like I'm not sure. But as far as the TV show, wasn't that bad. But I have Lovecraft Country by Ruff. This is a part of a duology. I only have the first book because I am uncertain how I'm gonna feel about the book, or if it's going to be too much for me. So again, I haven't read this. I watched the show. The show was cool as far as like me being able to sleep, but I'm take this one with a grain of salt, okay, especially if you haven't watched the show. But I loved it. This is a historical fantasy set in the South, and it has some racial undertones, a very interesting like subplot storyline theme regarding the racial undertones that I still to this day don't know how I feel about it, but maybe it's better explained in the book. I don't know. This isn't actually on my October TBR, but it could very well make its way to something that I end up reading. Next I have Blood at the Root by Ladarrion Williams. This is actually the book that I'm going to read next, starting tomorrow. I am buddy reading this with one of my booktube friends here on YouTube. Her name is Rebecca from Rebecca's Reality. She loves everything cozy, everything like hobby, like you name it, she probably does this hobby, and she just makes it look so fun and freeing and comforting. And her main channel's like theme is Disney, so she goes to Disneyland. She has like a bunch of Loungefly backpacks that she will do hauls on. She shows like the Disney pins, she does Disney crafts. She is just so stinking cute and adorable, and she's so sweet. So if you like Disney, if you like cozy girl things, hobbies, all that type of stuff, definitely go check out her channel. She is so kind, and we ended up deciding to read Blood at the Root together. This one is was described to me as Black Harry Potter. And I think that's simply because it's set at a magical university, and he receives a letter inviting him or saying he's accepted into the magical university. I think that's where the relationship kind of ends. It doesn't mention houses, at least in the synopsis. It could be houses, I don't know. But it has something to do with him like trying to uncover the secrets of like his family ties to this university, and like how their magic is impacting or impacted by the history of the university and things like that. So it's a little bit of a quest, kind of getting into stuff. Now Harry Potter was minding everybody's business but his own at the beginning, but this seems to be his business. So like I'm really interested in this, and I'm going to start reading this tomorrow. I can't wait. And so instead of me like thinking it's like Harry Potter, I think from the synopsis it's giving more Legendborn by Tracy Deonn, because it's set at a university and it has that like familial tie into like the magic and like I would say like secret society. Like she's trying to uncover secrets, he's trying to uncover secrets. So I think that it's sounding similar to these books, and I guess Harry Potter because it has to be an invitation type of situation. But nonetheless, I do think this wasn't necessarily a mention for the spooky season books, but I don't think it's misplaced for spooky season at all. So if you're interested, this is a YA. Could it be considered dark academia? Well, but it's fantasy. And I've only read the first of the duology. There actually is a third book coming out soon. But yeah, this also fits. I didn't mean to mention this like on its own, but it fits. So yes, hopefully you enjoyed this video. Let me know down below if you have any recommendations for spooky season books for girlies who don't actually want to be spookied, because I'm definitely interested, especially if it is urban fiction. I am very much in an urban fiction, urban romance vibe right now. Demon's Dream has me messed up. I'm not even kidding with you. It has me so messed up. I'm chasing that feeling right now. So if you know anything like Demon's Dreams, leave it down in the comments down below, and I am on it. Okay, you will see it in my reading wrap up. Please believe it. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you haven't already subscribed, please consider doing so before moving on. Other than that, I'll see you in my next video. Bye.